Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I am Morris Merrill, the author. Enough is enough. Public education has spiraled out of control. Also, I'm the host of Straight Talk in Room 503. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back to another session of Straight Talk in Room 503. I'm so glad that you are able to join us this week. This week, we have double topics for you. The first topic will be, I double dog dare you to care. Again, the topic for the first session is I double dog dare you to care. The last session will be on go get your bananas. Again, go get your bananas. Okay, before doing that, ladies and gentlemen, let's just talk about the seriousness of how things are going. As I normally do, we talk about what's going on in Madison County, my hometown, and I should do that this week. But before we do that, let me make mention of the fact that we ought to care more for what's going on with all people. And we'll talk a little bit about the Trump effect, because it's having an effect on public education as well. And you'll be surprised how much candidate Trump is affecting public education. But before doing that, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say this. You know, we judge people too much. The Bible tells you not to judge. But we need to quit judging people. That is why we have so much in the segregation days and integration days of white flight, white students running to not to have to attend school with black students, and the flourishing of private schools. They're just building them and just overnight. They're just building them. There's a whole lot of renovation going on, and public school is deteriorating. Private school is building on and adding to the program, new buildings, innovative ideas, resources, teachers, and what have you. But ladies and gentlemen, we have got to begin to care for all people. We're in the final days, and God is coming back. And the Bible will tell you that God is coming back for his people. He says that the dead in Christ, those who died in Christ, shall rise first. Then those who are here shall be caught up with him in the sky. And there will be judgment. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very serious matter. Let me say this. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple Computer, started out worshiping in church, and then he just stopped. And ladies and gentlemen, as you know, he died of pancreatic cancer. And ladies and gentlemen, when he was 58 years of age, he was laying on his dying bed, breathing his last breath. There were family and friends. Multi-billionaire. Only what you do for Christ will last. Just because you live in a nice neighborhood, just because you can wear nice clothes, just because you got money in the bank, just because your family is doing well, that does not give you a ticket to heaven. But Steve Jobs had not given Christ his life. But on his dying bed, he was laying there. And we can't say because we don't know. I just believe that he asked God for forgiveness, and that God, in those final hours, if you ask God, he will forgive you. That's just the kind of God we have. He's a merciful, good God. But ladies and gentlemen, as he got ready to breathe his last breath, their family tells that he looked up toward heaven and he said, "Oh, wow." He said it 3 times. "Oh, wow. Oh, wow." I believe that once he gave his life to Christ, that just like the thief that was on the cross, that day God said, "You shall be with me." I believe that God received him into his kingdom. I said it because if he was looking at hell, he wouldn't have been saying, "Oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow." Heaven is a place that's going to it's a wow factor involved. Ladies and gentlemen, it's what we're doing here on earth to help children. That you should be saying, "Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I got an opportunity to teach. I got an opportunity to mentor a child. I got an opportunity to straighten a child." Ladies and gentlemen, it's about the seeds. Every child has a seed of greatness in them. Now, whether it germinates and matures depends on a lot of factors. We never would have made it. I came from a poor family in a poor neighborhood, and people were saying, what can come out of that neighborhood? Well, I'm here to tell you that I have 4 sisters, and And my parents was poor. My daddy was a factory man, worked for the railroad, and also he worked for Piggly Wiggly. And daddy didn't make a lot of money, but daddy knew how to save. He sent us all on to college. We all 5 of us graduated from college. Not one of us have a police record, not strung out on drugs, praise the Lord. And we all are in church. Every chance we get, we're in church. And my oldest sister turned out to be a CPA accountant. My next sister was a teacher. My second sister is a small business loan administrator and into consulting. I went on to become administrator and author. My baby sister is a professor at one of the universities here in the state of Tennessee. So don't tell me what you can't be if someone helped you. But my mother didn't do it by herself. My daddy didn't do it by myself. God used a whole lot of people in the neighborhood to help all of us out. And so we need to return to that when we care about children, not from where they come from, but Lord knows where they're going. We need to help them to sow seeds of greatness and then help them to materialize the seeds that are inside of them. You know that when you show love, you're sowing seeds that God wants you to sow. These seeds, the seeds that are in us, are seeds of light. And God wants us to help all children to grow. Quit putting children down. Quit fleeing from children and love children. If you even spend the money and the resources and do what's right in public education, all kids' life matter. Everybody would benefit from that. So we need to help people to continue to be better people. I just don't want you to go around putting people in your box. Because I'm not in your box doesn't mean that I can't make it. It's about us caring. We just because we don't see eye to eye on certain things, there's no reason for me and you to not to get along and live together. All people are important. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just double dog dare you to care. I double dog dare you to treat every child right. Ladies and gentlemen, after the small break, I'll be back and I'm going to tell you about what's going on in Madison County school system, what's going on in your school system. And then we're going to wrap up talking about go get your bananas. And then I'm going to see you next week. Okay? So stay tuned. Stay with me. Call a friend. Tell a friend while I'll take a brief break that Professor Merriweather is in class and you need to be in class. Don't let me mark you late. Take care. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad that you stayed with me here in class. Let me, as I normally do, let me talk about what's going on in my hometown of Madison County, Jackson, Tennessee. Ladies and gentlemen, as you well know or you will know after today, every Monday, of course, this time due to Labor Day being on Monday, this coming Tuesday. But every Monday and Tuesday, Reverend James Baxter, a good friend of mine and a good friend of public education, join me as we go around to 27 schools in Madison County and talk with teachers and students and look at resources, ask questions, make suggestions and what have you. And he and I are on this journey for the Lord and for the children of my hometown and also for your hometown, because people who once lived in one city ends up living in various parts of the world. So we're hoping to make a difference. So when I went for break and we said we double dog dare you to care, I'll challenge you, as Reverend Baxter and I will challenge you. We double dog dare you to care about children. That is my thrill, my life. Surrounding parents with crisis situation and children. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just excited about it. In fact, Labor Day tomorrow, I'll be having appointments. I got 2 appointments that I'll be meeting with parents to talk about what's going on with their child and try to make the home life better. So I don't pause because it's Labor Day. Labor Day to me is just what it said. Laboring for the Lord. So I'll be out there tomorrow meeting, making home visit, and I'm retired from the school system. I just didn't retire and go home and lay back and say I'm retired. I don't have anything to do with it. I don't have a child in public education or in any school. I do have two grandchildren. One of them is in Jackson State Community College, a young man. My grandson is 20, and I have a 12-year-old granddaughter who is in public schools in another county. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm concerned about children. I don't know about you, but I don't want God to ask me, what did you do for children? I tell him I retired. What do you do for children? I live out north. What do you do for children? My husband and I are happy we got our children through school. That's crazy. That's just doggone crazy. But ladies and gentlemen, one of the first schools that we went to this weekend was the alternative school. As you've heard me say numerous times before, I started the alternative school in 1985. And when they asked me to take over that school, I did not have a teaching certificate. I did not have a master's degree, and education was not my background. My background was juvenile justice. But ladies and gentlemen, when God put you out there to do a task, God will equip you. I never could have done the job without God. All credit go to God. And I done an awesome job. I'm not saying it because I'm Morris Merritt. I did an awesome job because God was behind me, pushing me and giving me the tools that I needed to have. I went back at age 50 and got my master's degree because the superintendent who came along said I needed to get it or else I wasn't going to have a job. And I hadn't finished God's will, so he allowed me at age 50 to sit in the classroom with students who was 23 years of age and end up being in the top 4 of the class. So, ladies and gentlemen, God's an awesome God, trust him. But listen, the alternative school now is being ran by a Caucasian brother. In fact, his name is Mr. Newman. I'd heard of Mr. Newman. I had met Mr. Newman. I couldn't wait to get to the alternative school because in my mind I was trying to picture a white guy over a predominant black alternative school with students with all type of behavior problem. What possibly could this white brother be able to do with the children? What I did, and I asked God to forgive me too, I just couldn't imagine it. But that's in my little earthly mind. I wasn't in the spiritual mind. My spiritual mind tells me that God can do anything with anybody, no matter what the color is. But I was just amazed that this brother, so after we got there and listening to him talk and watching how he ran the school and talking with his staff and looking at his program, ladies and gentlemen, I was blown away. Mr. Newman, and I told him, if I got something to say, I'll say it to your face. I don't talk behind nobody's back. Not only am I the principal person here and straight talk, I talk straight every day of my life. You either love me or you hate me, whatever, I'm going to tell you the truth. So I told him sitting there that if I had to select a principal of an alternative school, I would select, due to the fact that it's 95% black, I would have put a black administrator there. But I would have had a black system principal. In my school, I would hire white, hire black, hire white, hire black, because I had white and black in the school. Your school should reflect the students that your population is in your school. So, but I did tell him, if I had to today make a decision on who would run the alternative school here in Madison County, after talking with you and watching your program and listening to your students and listening to the staff, I would put my support in you, and you're white. So, ladies and gentlemen, I told him, whatever I can do, you count on me, you call me. We got to quit criticizing and talking so much and get out there and see what's going on and see what we can do. But, ladies and gentlemen, his school is 95% minority students. They have 4 programs within the school. They have a program called the Best Academy. Then there's the Alternative School. Then there's the Bridge Academy. And then there's a drug treatment facility. So we got 4 under the umbrella of this alternative school. And Mr. Newman is the principal of all 4 of the programs. Let me say that the best program is for behavior, emotional, and social transition of students. It's then we have the elementary behavior intervention program. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we have the day treatment for emotionally disturbed students. And then we, of course, have alternative school students there for zero tolerance and other behavior problems. But ladies and gentlemen, the school is 90% black, and it has, I'd say, about a 60-40 ratio of black and white. In the day treatment program, there is 55% African Americans in the day treatment program. So keep in mind that there is about 90% African Americans in the alternative school. And then in the bridge program, it's majority black. So we have a program that is hiring, that has all four programs underneath the program. And the majority of those programs are African American. Ladies and gentlemen, the program that really touched my heart and made me wonder what the African American community is thinking and doing. Keep in mind, I told you, I double dog dare you to care. Ladies and gentlemen, in the program called BEST. BEST is an elementary student, K through 5th grade. And ladies and gentlemen, my mind was totally blown. When I looked into that door and looked at kindergarten African American male students sitting in that room, I was totally blown. My first response is, they are just babies. What are those babies doing in there? Parents have shook their responsibility. Teachers have turned their back. The community has turned their back. Ministers in the religious community has turned their back. Right here in my hometown, my community, my black people, my white friends, my Mexican, Hispanic friends have turned their backs. To see those 6 little African American males in kindergarten, in 1st grade, misbehaving in class this early in life. Then we said, we don't know what went wrong. We don't know why the prisons are filled with African American males. Ladies and gentlemen, they're being generated every day. They're being cultivated every day because lots of us won't do our job. And so we cultivate those negative behaviors and they're flourishing. Then we don't understand when violence and crime, and you have Donald Trump saying, what the hell you got to lose? Got everything to lose if it's you. Ladies and gentlemen, we just got to do something different. Another thing that was hurting to me when I looked in the teacher, and ladies and gentlemen, you can call me racist, you can call me anything you want to, I really don't care. But ladies and gentlemen, there was a white young female in there. Appears to not be that young. Not saying she can't do a good job, because Mr. Newman is showing me that he's doing. But ladies and gentlemen, most of the jobs in my hometown, with 2 blacks on the school board, and with a lot of blacks in key position in the city, with a lot of white friends, and who wears a Botany 500 Stacey Adams shoe, driving Escalades and Mercedes and what have you, going to Macy's and what have you, living next door to those people. And then this to be happening, that we got a young white woman in there teaching our black males, where is the role models that we need to have that needs to be African American? Those little boys need to see someone looking like me that care about them. Not that white doesn't care. I'm not talking about whether the young lady care. I'm saying they need to see more of our people helping us. There's only, when you talk about the black problem, there's only 2 that can really help us with our black problems that we're experiencing with our black youth. And that is us and God. Then thirdly, there's white Mexicans and Puerto Ricans. We have to be out there. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, give you a prime example. I down a lot to a place, Hibachi. I hope I said it correctly and say I don't pronounce it correctly. But it's I believe they're Japanese or but anyway, it look like they're Japanese. Ladies and gentlemen, you go there to eat and you will find nothing but their people working in that restaurant. It's a restaurant that hires their people. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm simply saying, when it comes down to a population of majority African American, it should reflect a majority African Americans there. I would not expect to go to a private school where there's a predominant private school for whites and find a majority of blacks. So don't give me this crap, Miss Merrill. You just being prejudiced. Whites can teach blacks, and I don't need to hear all that mess. I want it to be fair. Why don't you go to the private schools in your hometown tomorrow and ask them why is the students majority white and you don't have an all black staff? They look at you like you done lost your mind. Well, then don't look at me like I've lost my mind. Why is it that we have a predominant black school system and we have a superintendent who says she's Creole, she's not black, and she has not hired any blacks in administration there at the central office? They're so far down they now make a position, make a real difference. In the morning, if I had a complaint, I can't find nobody looking like me to complain to in a predominant black school system. And we sit somewhere talking about everything going to be all right. You're a fool and the truth is not with you. But ladies and gentlemen, again, my hat's off to Mr. Newman for an excellent job in running the alternative school. We need to get over there and support him. I will be releasing a little bit later some things that I learned while I was there that I don't particularly like, and I'm gathering some information. Hopefully next class session we'll get to talk about that, but I don't want to talk about that right now. But I will say that the assistant principal at the alternative school is white. The principal is white. Ladies and gentlemen, come on, get up off of your and start doing something to help your children and all children. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going for another small break, and we're going to come back, and I'm going to tell you about what Donald Trump is doing to hurt public education. But before doing so, I did receive email from a young lady. I want to share that email, talk about Donald Trump, and then we're going to conclude briefly on Go Get Your Bananas. Stay with me now. Ladies and gentlemen, let me read to you what Donald Trump said. I went and put on my baseball uniform because Donald Trump is playing games with the American public, and he's also playing games with the lives of our children. And his rhetoric has caused problems in public education where we're sitting on the side talking about it. But I tell you what's so ironic about the whole thing. We'll talk about Pookie and Nanika in inner city schools. Wonder who the parents are. They can't do nothing with them. They on welfare. They just getting drunk. They're throwing their money away. We talk about everything. I don't hear anyone talking about that we have so-called intelligent whites, congressmen, senators, and lawyers, Republicans, who are backing a man that's so unstable, it's a crying shame. If you talk to them one-on-one and says, are you really backing him? They would say no. But they don't want the public and the community to know that they're not supporting Donald Trump. Donald Trump is hurting students, ladies and gentlemen, and he will pay the ultimate price just like you and I if we're not doing the right thing. The article is entitled The Trump Effects. It goes on and it says that a recent report from the Southern Poverty Law Center Teaching Tolerance Project confirms that the hostile tone and the bullying behavior, like that seen at Trump campaign event, is having a profound negative effect on individual students and the entire school community. Nationwide, educators have reported alarming cases of student bullying, anti-immigrants, anti-minority rhetoric that has been heard during the course of the 2016 presidential campaign. Build a wall. Students are chanting, build that wall, at a high school basketball game in Indiana, referring to Donald Trump's campaign promise to build a wall along the Mexican-American border with Mexico. The same week, our students from high schools, they was yelling, Trump, 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 during a basketball game against a rivalry school whose students' body is half Hispanic. can't go to the basketball game and enjoy it. When the students start to losing, they start yelling, Trump, Trump, Trump. Last spring, two Virginia third grade student, and you hollering about minority students and what parents are telling them, and my God, give me a break, white people. All right. Last spring, two Virginia third grade students was taunting other classmates by saying, when Trump is president, you will be deported. When Trump is president, you will be deported. Through an online survey, 2,000 K through 12 educators answering questions about what they are seeing, what they see, at their school. Nearly 70% of those educators said students, many of them immigrants, children of immigrants, Muslim, have expressed concern about what might happen to their family after the November election. Students can't even be comfortable in school. A teacher reported hearing a fifth grade student now, who are their parents, heard a fifth grade student tell a Muslim peer that he was supporting Donald Trump because he was going to kill all the Muslims if he become president. Students are hearing more and more hate language than ever heard before in school system. I won't go on and continue to read it, but it's a whole lot of this. I'm not making this up. It's right here in black and white, and it's being published. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump is hurting the American society, and his people, let's just call it like we're saying, because this is class of straight talk, are supporting him. He has less than 1 to 1.5% African American. So white people are supporting a man that David Duke says he supports. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to be careful who our black friends, white friends, Mexican friends, all of our friends are. If they don't have our interests at heart, we need to get rid of them. Meriwether did. I can tell you that I lost a whole lot of white friends and a whole lot of black friends because if they're not caring about what's going on with our children, I kept praying for them, but I cut them out of my circle. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an email that I got from a friend because she knew that I was going around and Reverend Baxter and I are going around looking at schools. It starts out by saying, I have a question. Maybe you can answer. This is my second year at East